have House Infrastructure Committee Co-Chair, Congressman Terry Redon, joining us via phone. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Thanks again for joining us. Kong, can you hear us? Kong, nakamute ata po kayo. Ayan. There you go. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Alright, so you found some questionable items nga po dito sa National Expenditure Program po ng PBBM administration noong 2025. Pero ano po bang ibig sabihin nito about the budget vetting process? Ano po ba yung implication nito na nanggaling ito sa NEP, not the congressional insertion?
Well, una sa lahat, kadalasan ho ng mga intriga hong sinasabi ng iba't ibang quarters, no? Kasama ho siya Mayor Magalong. Sabi nila, alam niyo yung kitaan dyan, yung mga pera nakukuha ng mga tao mula sa mga proyekto, sa mga congressional insertions po yan nakukuha. Ang tanong natin sa kanila ngayon, paano ho ngayon? Yung ghost projects na binabanggit po ng Pangulo ng Pilipinas ay nasa NEP po nang gagaling. DPWH proposed program or project po ito. So ibig sabihin, hindi ho ganun kadali na magtuturo ng senador o kongresista na sangkot po sa mga ghost projects po dito. Pero hindi rin ho natin inaaalis para lang malinaw na even if this is a NEP originated project, pwede rin po na may kasabwat na kongresista o senador pa rin.
Pero sa executive side, Congressman, no, how do we now look at the chain of responsibility? Nasa district level ba nagsisimula? Nasa regional, central office?
Yung po nga direct responsibility para dito po sa ghost project po na ito, nandun sa district engineer kasi siya po yung hepe ng particular na opisina, sila yung nag-implement Pero meron pong oversight kasi yung region sa mga proyekto pong ito. So, ibig sabihin, kung napalampas po ng rehiyon, hindi nila napansin yan, hindi sila nagpadala ng tao para i-check ko yan dahil kulang sila ng tao. Meron hong responsibility po yung regional director. Kung yung central office, hindi rin nila na-check, no? Parang it had gone under their noses. Meron ho talagang kailangan accountability. Hindi natin sasabi na criminal liability yan. Pero it's a leadership question. It's a leadership concern. Na dapat hindi naman talaga ito. Kumbaga, what are the checks that the central office had actually initiated to basically put a stop to all of these things?
Kaya, Congressman, madami nagsasabi ngayon na even though, the Secretary Bonoan may not be directly involved in all these anomalies, but the mere fact na laganap ito sa mga district offices means may problema na sa leadership. We also had the Congressman Leviste talking about confirmed briberies from the district engineer. So, may nangyayari talaga.
Tama po yun. So, talaga po we leave it to the President, like what I stated yesterday. Kung talagang he maintains to have trust and confidence in Secretary Bonoan, then he will remain in office. No? Pero if that has weakened or it has crumbled, I think Secretary Bonoan has no other choice but to leave. No? Pero for as long as it is there, it is present, syempre he will continue to lead po the agency.
Okay. That's right. Kung yun na-mention niyo po sa mga interviews niyo na itong mga binisita ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa mga maanumalyang flood control projects ay kasama nga po doon nagsimula sa NEP. No? Ito po bang lahat ng 9,000 na binabanggit natin, maaari nating masabi na doon talaga nanggaling sa NEP, not a congressional insertion? Nasaan na po ba kayo pagdating doon po sa mga research na ginagawa po ninyo before you start the investigation by Infracom?
Para lang mahumalinaw, yung pong 5,500 flood control projects, mixture po yan ng congressional initiative insertions at mga NEP. Pero, syempre, ang gusto ho natin para orderly ho yung proseso, silipin ho muna natin yung mga napuntahon na po ng Pangulo kasi, syempre, at least meron na siyang initial information dyan. So, talagang masiyasat ho natin yung mga particular na, na detalye ng mga proyekto. Anyway, 6 lang naman ho yun. So, madali lang hong silipin din. In fact, doon po sa 6 na yun, marami na hong pwedeng mahalukay at mabago. Di ba? Meron nung kwento dyan ng substandard, may kwento ho dyan ng ghosts, no? So, yung pong mga circumstances relating to these particular types of projects, marami na ho tayo. I think it would require several hearings already. Kasi pag-usapan na dyan, yung mga paano nakakuha ng proyekto yung mga maliliit na kumpanya, 250,000 capital, pero billions in pesos of projects, no? How did that happen? Halimbawa, okay, mga big contractors na sinasabi. In fact, nagpangalan ata si Congressman Leviste kahapon, no, top contractor pala yung kanyang sinususpect, no? na magbabribe, no? So gusto nating malaman, for example, paano ba yan lumaki? Kasi ang totoo naman when I was in Congress, hindi natin narinig yung kumpanya na yan eh. And that was a long time ago, mga 2013 pa ako nasa Congress the first time. Yung pong ilan sa mga kumpanya doon, parang ngayon lang sila talaga lumaki ng gusto. Naging quadruple A contract. So we'd like to be able to know also in the hearing, paano ho lumaki ng ganito kalalaki in a massive scale. Ito pong mga kontratistang ito.
Alright. Okay. So, may sinasabi rin po kasi yung mga LGUs, nung simula po pumutok itong issue na to, narinig po natin sa mga balita, sinasabi ng governor, ng mga mayor, hindi namin alam yan, walang coordination, wala kaming alam dyan sa proyekto na yan. And do you also see, along with your investigation sa Infracom, na in aid of legislation, na makagawa ng batas or ma-enact yung maibalik na magkaroon ng LGU participation pagdating sa national project?
Pwede hong mangyayari. Actually, di man siguro kailangan ng legislation for that. Mas executive order. Kasi for example, in DPWH, ang alam ko, hindi sila required to coordinate or to have like a consent from LGU pagka mga roads and bridges yung pinag-usapan. Pero we're talking about flood control. Hindi naman kasama ata sa exemptions yun. So, I think dapat talaga nakipag-coordinate po yung national agencies, no? So, local government unit. But to be very clear, we also want to get an actual balance, no? Kasi baka if we like put so much new requirements in, baka naman bumagal naman yung proseso ng pagtatayo ng infrastruktura. Magiging bureaucratic delay naman po yung magiging problema ho natin. So, we don't want that to happen as well. So, I'm all for a closer coordination, consultation with the LGUs. No? Pero kung halimbawa, should we make it a policy na they have to consent for any national infrastructure project to be implemented? Baka parang medyo kailangan ho natin pag-isipan nyo kasi that is basically granting new powers to local government units.
Baka another layer of possible corruption. Pero Congressman, the other time we were talking, you were also saying that there was an idea that's floating around na baka perang post-project audit by a third party. Is this something most of you are thinking about na after the project may actual third party na hindi part of government that will audit na yung mga projects na ginawa?
Tama po yan. Actually, hindi lang after the project, no?
During
the project.
Okay.
Kasi nagpa-progress bill po yung mga, nagpa-progress bill naman po yung mga contractors and kailangan may private sector participation doon. Ibig sabihin, yung nag-inspect, dapat engineering design firm, halimbawa, ay babayaran sila ng fees nila. Particularly, para gawin lang yun, para i-check kung tama ba yung pagkakalatag ng bakal, yung kapal ng bakal, tama ba yung haba ng bakal. Sa totoo lang, sobrang daming detalye. In the inspection pa lang na pagka ginawa yung honest to goodness na trabaho po ng inspektor, marami sa mga problema na nakita natin na substandard facilities, hindi yung mangyayari.
That's correct.
Alright, so na-mention nyo nga po, maaring both NEP-originated and legislative projects are vulnerable nga dito sa mga irregularities na to. Now, the question here, how widespread do you believe this problem across flood control projects?
Hindi. Ang totoo, wala tayong distinction sa totoo lang. Sinasabi natin ngayon, pwede talagang may corruption within NEP projects and also within insertion projects. No? Mas madali lang kasi I guess magturo na meron some liability for ghost projects at substandard projects yung mga congressional insertions, initiatives kasi talagang pinoposto ng senador yun o pinoposto talaga ng congressman yun. It's not as easy to make that finger pointing pagka NEP originated kasi it is entirely proposed by the executive, no? So, mas yun lang naman yung very important distinction doon. Pero irrespective of which, kailangan talaga dapat i-implement ng tama. Dapat walang ghost, walang substandard na projects, whether NEP man yan or a congressional insertion man ito.
Pagdating po dito sa usapin ng bribery, itong district engineer na nakakulong ngayon, yung investigation po ba sa Infracom is planning to invite him over for cross-examination?
I think so. I think in a third hearing siguro or the next hearing, pwede na maisali yan kasi syempre germane naman talaga nangyari doon po sa conduct po ng Infracom kasi nga yan yung corruption allegations na pinag-usapan natin. Kumbaga, live na po and specific instance na po ito ng pagbabribe po ng district engineer sa isang kongresista. And syempre, gusto nating malaman from the district engineer, are you doing it on your own? Or are you representing an actual contractor. And that is the allegation of Congressman Leviste,
Yeah.
di ba? So, we will find out in the inquiry. So, they will definitely have their day in the committee para mapag-usapan po yan.
What about po the Commission on Audit? No? Nakita po natin dun sa report ni Senator Ping Lacson, kasama po siya allegedly, no, yung COA, doon sa corruption scheme. Ano po nakikita natin na accountability dito ng COA?
Siyempre, with very general kasi binabanggit ni Senator Lacson, pero we'd like to zero in on a particular case nga. Itong ghost project po sa Baliwag, Bulacan, itong binabanggit na ho natin na NEP project na ito. Very certain na ako dun sa liability ng mga DPWH engineers, no? Yung project engineer, district engineer, no questions asked, no? Pero yung sa COA ko, gusto nating malaman kung natapos na ba yung post-audit nila. Kasi kung sabihin nila sa atin in the inquiry na hindi pa nila natapos yung post-audit, di lusot sila. Pero for example, kung naglabas ng positive findings po yung COA na walang problema yung proyekto, pero ghost project pala siya, post-audit na, parang masasama ho sila dun pagka ho ganun yung naging sitwasyon.
Okay, so nireiterate nga po ni last na on my part po Congressman, nireiterate ni Kong Benny Abante na hindi daw po pwede ang Kamara ang imbestiga pagdating sa usapin nito dahil yun nga po nakikita natin yung conflict of interest dito. Yeah, especially ngayon po, nagkaroon po ng investigation, lumabas po sa inyong findings na may sinasabi po kayo na maaaring hindi kasabwat dito dito sa particular project na to ang Congress. But how do we make sure that this investigation is still, transparent at saka hindi po natin makakitaan na mapagtatakpan po ang Congress pagdating po sa usapin na to?
We will remain committed to the protocol that we want to institute, no? Like what we had stated before in our past interview. If a congressman or senator is named, he will be given the right to reply, but we will immediately recuse and endorse it po to the executive-led probe. And if there's a third-party probe that the president will create, we'll endorse it all to them. But very important to make the point po talaga din na Congress and Senate investigations are in full public view. Ibig sabihin, the public will judge congressmen and senators as to how we will actually conduct the hearing and how we will actually conduct the question. So, kung may payback ho yan pagdating ng election pagkahuli na lang ho namin itong mga bagay ito. Pero, and more importantly, if we throw it into a third-party independent probe or a DepDev probe, this is very far away, I think, from full public view. So, okay na ko magsabay-sabay lahat ng mga yan. And let us be tested in the conduct of the hearings. And kung talagang pagtingin nila, laro lang ho namin yan. Pagka lang publiko yung amin pong magiging kahinatnan.
Right. Congressman, lastly, we all know naman all of this is in aid of legislation, but I'm sure even before you get into the meat of the hearings, meron ka ng idea kung what you think may be the weak link in all of this process, the mere fact that this has been going on for the longest time. Sa tingin mo, where do you start right now in terms of legislation? Is there already laws in place that kailangan lang i-strengthen, i-amend, or do you think we have to introduce new laws to strengthen the process?
Well, again, yung babalikan ko, yung pong binabanggit natin na yung pong third-party inspections, no? Private sector inspection. Yung una, talagang very important po yun in the course of the process of project implementation. Pero pangalawa, yung pong nakakasali nga yung mga undercapitalized firms, no?
Yes.
Meron nung silang kusot dyan Ang ginagawa ho nila parang may nagpapautang lang daw po nagbibigay ho ng lines of credit ng mga bangko. Na kahit maliit ka, dahil may pautang may credit facility ka, pwede kang sumali. Dapat ipagbawal na yun. Kasi nga, I think yun po yung naging entry point ng mga undercapitalized firms para lumaki at para makasali sa mga bidding po ng infrastructure or kung ano mga government contracts. No?
Right.
Hindi po pwede yun kasi pera na ibang tao yun Kailangan yung po competency po ng isang kumpanya nakabatay sa sarili niyang lakas. Ibig sabihin, kumbaga, sekundaryo na lang dapat yung leverage financially na kaya pong ibigay ng bangko. So, ibig sabihin, kung wala ka talagang track record, gumawa ka muna ng track record. Hindi ba? So, I think yun po yung isa sa mga pwede talagang next steps, no? Dito po. Kasi talaga yan The more that we disallow unscrupulous entities from entering government contracts, I think the better for all of us.
That's right. All right. Thank you, House Infrastructure Committee Co-Chair, Congressman Terry Ridon, for joining us again.
Maraming salamat. Magandang umaga.